My hot take, which absolutely nobody else is saying, but actually they probably are, is that Max Verstappen is the rightful champion. And
I agree.
It's all worked out. I mean, he's not champion yet, but he is going to be after this weekend. And it's all worked out probably as it should. I, like everybody else, hoped for a bit more kind of like, whoa, will he, won't he, will he get to the thing? Oh, I don't really like him, but he has been the best driver. Even when the car's not been good, he's the best driver by
I'm sorry,
quite
but
some
that,
margin.
What that drive at the weekend, talk about
It was great.
Here,
Yeah. A little bit of luck to get the actual win,
sure,
but
come on.
even without that, the drive was amazing. Yeah, it was very, very good. He is very, very good. And Norris has been making too many mistakes, and he frankly doesn't. He was having to rely on his teammate to try and help him to win the title. He was grasping at straws, flailing around. I don't like Verstappen. In fact, the previous race reminded me how much I don't like Verstappen because I don't like the way he races. But when he's not being a knob and charging people off the track, he's really, really, really good.
There was definitely something where I was like, the Norris challenge has come too late. Like, he needed to be much closer now. Yeah, he needs to be much closer now to have a chance. And then as they were lining up on the grid on Sunday, I was there thinking, well, this is going to be a bit too little too late. He could pull out a 25-point lead today, like a 25-point difference today on Max, because Max is starting in 17th and he's on pole. So, but it's still going to be too little too late.
It still would have been a big ask,
shame. Yeah. And then after about 4 laps, Verstappen's in the lead and Norris is 9th. And you're like, yeah, I think he deserves this championship.
4 laps.
If we're assuming erroneously that F1 is about finding the best driver, it is Max Verstappen. Now, of course, it's not. It's a lot more complicated than that. But on the, I think despite his team, he's going to win this title. And it's particularly impressive when you realise that his team, he's had no teammate to help him out, really. I say not really, not at all. If anything, has been making his life harder. He's barely had a team to make his life better, considering they seem to be self-destructing as well. And they're, 3rd, 4th in the title race now? But well done to him. One of his championships he didn't deserve. This one he absolutely does.
Do you guys know about cuckolding?
Yes.
Now is not the time, Terry. We'll discuss it offline.
No, but it is. It's where you let somebody have sex with your wife, isn't it, or girlfriend?
I just feel that Sergio Perez has got a bit of a cuckolding thing. Because I think he probably could win. I think he is good enough. And as a kink this year, he's just gone, right, I want Max, I want you all...
Wipe the floor with me, Max.
Yeah, I want you to keep telling me how good it feels to win races.
Tell me how much you love Christian Horner and he loves you.
He's such a weird kink. The effort required. First, you've got to become an F1 driver. Then you've got to
have dedication.
Get into a team with a driver that's able to pull off such skillful driving.
Yeah, excuse me.
But possible. I'm not denying.
Dear Max, would you like to come to a party with Carlos Slim? I'll watch.
How about you, Terry? Have you got a hot take apart from that hot take?
Talking of Perez, my hot take is it's also about Perez, but it's not about cuckolding. It's a contentious question of we see Perez this year as being shit, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Hamilton has been quite shit just lately. Now, we're all led to believe, or we all choose to believe, that Hamilton is shit because the Mercedes is shit this year and he'll be good in the Ferrari. But I want to posit the potential that maybe Hamilton's gone shit as well.
I mean, we have mentioned this before, I seem to remember. Maybe a year ago, maybe last season, can't remember. We were sort of opining as to, every driver gets to the point where he starts to lose it.
Yeah.
Happened to Vettel. It happened very quickly to Ricciardo. Is it happening to Hamilton now? I mean, he's won 2 races, in fairness.
Yeah, but anyone can win races this year. Look at Ocon nearly won a race.
Anyone can win a race. I refuse to believe that. I feel, someone with his track record, I'm sorry, but
No, I don't want to believe it. I want to believe very much that in the Ferrari next year he's going to win the championship.
But that's what I think. I think that's
getting
exactly
old.
what I think's happened. I think they're just like I don't know. Do they do this? You tell me, Phil. But I mean, they know he's leaving, so are they just bumming around with his car a little bit, trying some new things out? Would they do that?
I'm sure they are doing that. And he spoke at the end of this race. He is very fucked off to the point where people were saying, is he actually going to go back for the last few races? Like, there's no point. It's kind of the rest of the race is complete dead rubbers for him. So there's no point in him actually doing it, and he's not staying at the team. So I don't know. I think he's a pro, so he'll stay, but he's not happy. But it does happen to everyone. I mean, look at. I mean, the list could go on. Like,
well, at least do the list. Don't list nothing, and then say
I said
the list
that
could go
and then
on.
completely forgot. All right, so Vettel, Ricciardo, Raikkonen. Schumacher before
on the Mercedes comeback. I'm not even doing the joke.
He was nowhere near as good. Yeah, it happens to all the old drivers at some point.
The only driver who didn't have a drop off in his career after winning a championship was Nico Rosberg, because he fucked off the second he won.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
quit while you're ahead. Yeah.
I mean, there is a bit of history, because Hamilton. You remember the years when it's hard to remember now, but when Mercedes was so dominant that he wrapped up the championship with like 5 races to go. Hamilton would often then just phone in those 5 races and finish 8th or something, because he didn't give a shit. So you can definitely
give
see
Bottas some love.
Yeah, he could have phoned in the last 2 seasons, because once it's apparent you're not going to beat Verstappen, why bother? And then you've got George Russell being a dick in the next car, probably. I bet in the debriefs, George Russell's just like, "Oh, Lewis, I didn't see where you finished. Where did you finish? Oh, behind me. Oh, that must really hurt."
8th? Is that still points? I can't remember.
I can't. Were you on the same lap as me? I didn't see you. And Toto's going to be feeling weird, because he's going to have some loyalty for Hamilton, but he's also feeling betrayed. But he has to show loyalty to Russell, even though Antonelli's on the way in.
Well, yes, that's a big even though, because he's got to show loyalty to Russell. But I think secretly he's like, Russell will always be the number 2.
Oh, I don't think that's a secret.
He's got all his hopes pinned on Antonelli.
I cannot wait to see how Mercedes unfolds next season. Honestly, it's going to be really fascinating. But I also want Hamilton. Like, I will just, if he goes there and just like gets in that little red suit,
spanks him,
looks a little bit overweight, just slides into the car. I just don't want any of that going on.
Fat Hamilton.
Yeah, I just really hope he's just got some. He's just started smoking. Just fucking.
Grown a massive beard. His hair implants have fallen out.
I just want him to just really be great next year in that Ferrari.
You see, before you did that evocative description, I was totally with you that I want Hamilton to win the championship. But now I think what I want more is fat Hamilton,
NASCAR Hamilton.
Smoking 20 Rothmans.
He's just totally given up. He went to the Seychelles on his break, his time off. Yeah, and he's like,
it's a shame we don't have the Marlborough sponsorship anymore, lads. And he's gone Northern for some reason.
And he's got some 60-year-old girlfriend. And he's like, "Here, this is Frances. You treat her right?
Get me a pina colada. They're proper classy, they are."
I told her everyone should be doing the lap timers, so somebody get her a stopwatch.
I could do Northern Hamilton all day long. I love this person. Terry, draw him. I want to see what he looks like.
I want to see an internet animated series of, that'd be great.
Fat Northern Hamilton.
Which, by the way, if listeners you haven't, I did an animation for the play from the last episode. So if you go on our Instagram or our YouTube, you could watch.
It's very good.
It's very good.
Fernies.
I actually got rib pain from laughing so much for a few days. That's how funny I found it. It's really good.
Ribbed for your pleasure.
Do you want my hot take? I'll keep it brief, I promise.
Yes.
Alpine, a little glitch at the weekend, or destined for, I'd say, glory. They're obviously not going to go very far. But the only reason I actually wanted to mention it is because I just found it really lovely to see Gasly and Ocon just sort of
not
winning.
Fighting.
Yeah, but just it was nice.
It was a slightly weird dynamic, because I think they still don't like each other. And yet they're clearly both delighted in this. Can you imagine having one of the best days of the year, but you're with somebody you don't really like? You're like, this is great. I mean,
That's
you think
Christmas,
it's great. I think it's great. I don't really like you, and you don't like me, but it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey.
You've just made me feel slightly sorry for JD Vance. What?
Brilliant.
That's all right. He's going to be president within a year, isn't he? So,
What I want to know is just how that happened. Like, because it just for me anyway, I just felt like that absolutely came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they have a 2-3.
So, do you want to take this, Phil?
well, I'll give my take, and then you give your take on Ollie's
Do you want to take this? Should we answer Ollie's query?
if I may. It rained.
Yeah.
Both of the drivers are quite good, I would say, at the pretty good end of average.
Yeah.
They're solid drivers. They've been in F1 a long time. They've spawned wins, and they're kind of capable, when the opportunity presents itself, of taking advantage of it. The car is a bag of shit, but in the rain, it's less of a bag of shit. And apparently, in Brazil, particularly in the rain, that's like a pretty good combo for that otherwise quite unremarkable car. And and they got a bit of luck with the safety car. They got their strategy right. They took a gamble, because why wouldn't you? And it worked out for them, I think.
It was great to see, wasn't it?
The one thing I think you've overlooked there is, because it was a wet race, you don't have to have you don't have to have a pit stop.
Yeah.
You don't have to have two sets of tyres, and they were lucky that they hadn't had a pit stop, and the red flag came in, so they got a free pit stop to change their
essentially
wheels.
Gambled like Red Bull and McLaren didn't.
I see.
And Russell didn't.
Oh,
And
Russell
got
was
fucked
livid.
by it. Yeah.
Oh, Russell made me so happy when he was so angry about that. Oh God, guys, I told you.
I fucking told you so.
This is what I hate about Russell. He's always right after the event. Have you noticed that? He's like,
There is a compilation on YouTube of him complaining about other drivers.
Oh,
is there?
amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
love it.
I'm going to tune into that after this. Right. Now that's out of the way, we can finally say hello. Phil, what have you been up to this past month?
Hello.
A long month?
It has been a long month. I mean, there's no one thing. It's just been a series of things. Like, I'm recovering from a sprained ankle.
Oh, yeah.
Had I spoken to you last time I knackered my ankle?
I don't
Can't
think so. I
remember.
think
I feel like every
knackered
time
my
you speak
ankle.
to us, you've knackered
Can't remember
something.
when I did it. I'll tell you again. So, for all the stupid stuff I do in my mid-40s, like rollerblading and
Oh, yeah, I
all this
forgot
kind of
you
jazz.
did that. You've just reminded me.
yeah, I do that quite a lot, and I somehow managed to cheat serious injury and have done for 25 years. But this month, I think it was this month, I was I went to see the football with my daughter, and we came back and we thought she wanted to play football, so we went to the park and we took the football. We had a kick around in the park. No injuries. We finished. I started walking across the slightly uneven grass, and I rolled my ankle and ended up in A&E.
In A&E?
Yeah, I thought I'd broken my ankle. Like, I literally went over, like, on the outside of it, rolled it over, heard a very loud crack, and thought, fuck, it really hurt, and it swelled up and went purple. So the following day, I went to A&E and had it x-rayed. Turns out it's just quite a bad sprain.
From
So that's been
walking on
fun.
grass.
Yeah.
How'd
I
you
literally
do
just
it?
walking across a slightly uneven surface. I've reached the age where I'm having a bit of a fall,
I was
apparently.
walking. I was walking
You want to get
on
one of those
grass.
watches that sends an alarm to me when you fall
I think I'm going to have to.
so I can
Oh,
just
no. He's had another
Sorry.
fall.
so I can just text you and laugh.
So that's been fun. So yeah, so I've had that kind of hobbling. I can now walk all right, but I'm trying to get back to the stage where I can skate, because there's a skate park opening in my town, an indoor skate park, which can only result in great things at my age with my history. So I've been trying to deal with that, and half term, which it turns out, when you're a parent of a small child at half term, it's a right pain in the arse.
I would like to go.
necessarily
I'd like to
realise.
go skating with you, Phil. I skateboard, or at least I used to.
I mean, this is the part that's opening is very much a skateboarders park.
Yeah,
in
but
that
we
everything's
should
tiny.
go together and roll our ankles together.
We will.
I think that'd be really good fun. I'd enjoy
Tune in to December's episode, where
From
I'll probably be
hospital.
on crutches. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How about you, Terry? What have you been up to?
Well, my main thing this month has been I went to the dentist for the first time in ages.
I
Yeah.
did as well.
That's what happens, isn't it?
Everything's okay, but
Zahnarzt.
yeah. Mine is called Cottydent because it's in Cottbusser Tor in Berlin.
Cottydent?
Cottydent.
What does that mean?
Well, Cottbusser Tor is the area,
right?
Which is Cottbusser Gate, and that's where the dentist is. It's not a very
what would be the British equivalent to that, though? Like I'm thinking, well, it's an abbreviated place name followed by dent, right? Is that?
Yeah, like Mank Dent.
Yeah, it's just weird.
London. Londentium is the Roman
London's
dentist.
quite good. If that doesn't exist, it should. Yeah.
But
anyway, sorry.
So I hadn't been. So my last checkup was a couple of years ago. It should have been 6 months. Bad me. And they did the thing, and I think I want some advice because they did the thing where they're like, "Do you floss?" And I'm like, I do own some floss.
I have.
I have flossed in the past. And then the dentist tried to teach me how to floss in the most patronising basic terms. And I was just there going, I don't know what the best thing to do here is. Do I say, look, I've been told by many of your colleagues over the years how to floss. I just choose not to because then every year you clean my teeth and it's fine. Or do I do what I did, which is be very polite and go and just really pretend like I'd never heard of flossing before?
Yeah, you are still British after all.
Yeah, I was like, it goes between the teeth. Oh my God, wow. Well, I will be doing this. I will be doing this, yes. And that's what I did.
I've never heard of this before.
And I could tell the woman knew I was taking the piss. And but the thing is, I wasn't taking the piss. I mean, I was, but I was trying to act genuinely sincere and just be like, whoa, oh.
But you were trying to act genuinely sincere by putting on a complete false front, yeah. And there is the British way.
What did she say?
Well, she seemed delighted by the end because she was like, "Wow, no one really cares." And I'm like, "Oh,
I've been practicing this for ages, and finally, I have an adoring audience."
I practice that in front of the mirror 3 times a day, and finally, someone gets what I've been trying to say all these years about flossing. I use interdental brushes instead of flossing. That's that.
I've never tried those. They look dangerous.
Well, they kind of look like they could choke turtles, like because they're mostly plastic and metal. As in, if they end up in
there's not room between my teeth to get those in. Like, what am I going to do with those?
You'd be surprised there is.
I can barely get the dental floss in. I keep breaking dental floss.
You use
then you're fine.
Just dental. I'll use the all-in-one things that look like little violin bows.
Are you using a violin bow?
Yes.
I mean, that's horsehair.
Yes, it's about yay long, and I get a brilliant tune out of my teeth. It's great. Playing a lot of Bach etudes.
Yeah, but if you can't get floss in between the teeth, then presumably food can't get in there either, so you're fine.
You would think, but I also went to the dentist for the first time in about 3 years this month, and I need a load of fillings.
I'll tell you another thing that happened at the dentist was when they did the thing where they cleaned my teeth, and then they give you a little cup of purple water to slosh around. And when I spat it back in the sink, I spat it so violently that it splashed back all over my trousers.
Even with the sucky thing?
Even with the sucky thing. Anyway, that was...
And in many ways, that's a lot like Formula 1.
Yeah.
There's an analogy we could draw here. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, I'm glad your teeth are... Actually,
Ollie?
Are they okay? I don't know.
Give us another F1 analogy.
Drains.
Okay.
I cleared a drain. I actually felt really...
When you say you cleared a drain, did you jump over one?
No.
On your skateboard?
Mate, have you seen how big
I am?
Like
Homer at the big hole in the ground.
Wait, Terry, you think I could jump over a drain? I'm like 5'1".
Hang on. When you say drain, what are you picturing? Because I'm picturing a grill in the floor.
Yeah, a grill in the floor. Yeah.
So in
my house, side of my house. Side of my house.
You're not a borrower.
I'm not.
Hang on. I think we need to clarify what we're talking about here. When
a drain.
So like a hole in the floor.
Yes, a hole in the floor, Terry. Yes, that is what a drain is. You know, where water goes and poo and things.
So why don't you think you could jump over that?
I was making a joke. Maybe it just didn't land very well. I've had too much wine.
Like it landed in the drain.
Yes, that was it. It did not work.
Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp.
Let's not get into that again.
All I've done this month that I'm particularly proud of is clearing a drain, but also sorting out some drainage issues that I have on my house. And I just felt very middle-aged and very proud of that accomplishment.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I felt like that I had kind of protected my family from, unsanitary conditions. Because the drain was leaking, because it was overflowing, because it had been clogged with, I don't know what. I do know what. No, not porn. A mini fatberg.
Oh.
Yes. So, the fat had clogged up the little pipe. And anyway, I jammed
Mini Fatberg is actually doing very well in Formula 3 at the moment.
No, I think Mini Fatberg, wasn't she Russ Abbott's sidekick?
That's right, yes.
I'm disappointed in both of you that you're not taking my drain story very seriously, because I was genuinely proud of doing it.
Did you reach in with your bare hands, or were you a wuss and wore gloves?
No, I just used a pole.
I beg your pardon.
What, Robert Kubica? Yeah, that hand's not good for it anymore.
I knew there was a hand joke.
So, it is to Listener's Corner. Who wants to take the first question?
I can kick things off if you like.
Yeah, go on.
I'll go with Patrick Brennan, who says, who would have thought Haas would get rid of Gunther and then they start improving as a team?
Actually, me.
Oh, okay.
I felt for a long time.
Gunther was a giggle, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I felt for a long time he was very good at being Gunther Steiner, but I wasn't sure if that equated to being good at running a Formula 1 team. Like, for instance, if I got the job of running Haas, I would be fucking entertaining as fuck, right? They'd be like, oh my God, Terry's going to be interviewed. Oh, he's going to swear. Oh, what a guy. And then I'd go to a meeting and they'd be like, how are we with the carbon fibre composite? And I'd be like, I don't know.
Carbon fibre my balls.
Yeah.
But he's like, isn't he... Right, well, what's the when you were doing your comedy days, what was the best place you ever comedied? I don't know.
No one ever... This is the question I've always wanted to... God, ask me what the biggest gig I ever did was.
Yeah, well, the biggest gig. The biggest, best gig you
Terry,
ever did.
just by the by, what was the biggest gig you ever did?
There is a reason I'm asking this question. It's not just a fucking Terry's ego question.
Was it Kannapolis in the Carolinas?
The next 20 minutes is me talking about my comedy career. Well, the most impressive sounding venue I played was the Shepherd's Bush Empire.
Wow.
But that was for a charity gig. I mean, I was on the lineup. It wasn't like people came to see me. But the biggest gig I played, I did the comedy tent at the Green Man Festival. That I think was to 4,000 people.
Well, that's a lot. I've never heard of that, but that's a lot of people.
Well, for the grand prize of £22 at 7:30 on Wednesday, the 25th of June, 2025, you can go and see Gunther Steiner at Poole Lighthouse Theatre.
Oh yeah, he's coming to the Delaware Pavilion, Bexhill-on-Sea as well.
There's something really weird about that, and I'm not sure what it is.
I'll tell you what, though, I have played the Poole Lighthouse Theatre before.
I sense a double act. Double header, Terry Saunders, Gunther Steiner. I mean, that would work, I think.
One of my favourite comedian in-jokes is, I think it's Simon Munnery. I think it's him that started it. But when the joke goes as follows. So you go on stage at Poole Lighthouse Theatre and you say... they say you only ever played the Poole Lighthouse Theatre twice in your career. Once on the way up and once on the way down. It's good to be back.
It's a good joke.
It's a brilliant joke, yeah. See, Gunther should start with that one.
Maybe he will. Just with more fox in it.
Yeah. But anyway, I just thought it was quite telling that maybe his career hadn't quite gone the way that he was hoping.
No, I mean, we tried to get him on our podcast, didn't we? And I don't think we got a reply out of it.
I'm not sure we should admit that. We've seen
that's more telling about our podcast.
Yeah, he's now a renter gobble. He'll play Poole Lighthouse Theatre, but he won't go on a Formula 1 podcast.
I mean, in fairness, we haven't played Poole Lighthouse Theatre.
I have.
I mean, I've played some venues in my time. I don't talk about it much, not as a comedian. I've performed at a variety of top venues around the country.
Strip club?
But, no, I've performed at the Royal Albert Hall. I've performed at the Royal Festival Hall. I've performed at Symphony Hall, Birmingham.
Triangle?
No, I used to be in an orchestra.
Here we go. Look, I've just because Gmail goes on for so long. I've just searched Pool Lighthouse, and I can tell you that I played it on the 6th of February 2010.
Oh my god, that is such a long time
where were you,
ago.
Gunther?
6th of Feb, Pool Lighthouse, 2010. I'm not going to find it, am I?
I doubt there's any record.
Oh.
Says it was closed for cleaning.
What?
See, that's a good joke. Yeah. What? No, hang on. What did you play in the orchestra? You've told me this before, haven't you? I'm sure you have. Kettle drums.
I just searched for it, and all I've got is a Twitter account under the name of Terry Saunders at Tezza Saunders, who is based in Poole. Is that you?
My nemesis. Look, I set up a Twitter account for every town I play.
Patrick, have we answered your question?
It wasn't with Jackie Westermass, was it?
I don't remember.
Oh no, wait, that's Gary Barlow. What?
I vaguely remember that I died a bit.
Oh, was it bad?
It's Pool. What do you think?
Well,
I got confused. I found the pool lighthouse pool with Gary Barlow bringing there, and the post advertising Gary Barlow's gig was liked by somebody called Terry Saunders. That is not you; it's a woman.
Guilty.
Okay, this is going nowhere. Should we get back to Formula 1?
So yeah, this is going nowhere.
Yeah, I've said, have we answered Patrick's question? I don't think.
I think
so.
we have. I'm sure
we?
that's exactly where Patrick
Okay.
thought that was going to go.
Oh, was that question 1? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Terry,
I'm going to read the longest question we've ever been given.
go for it.
Sam X Dunn says, the safety car remains an outrageous loophole for white-knuckle hell demons like Max to exploit when he's had a shit qualifying. I refuse to believe that 16 drivers were all simply outfoxed in Sao Paulo by this Flemish fuckstick based on merit alone, to say nothing of Red Bull's more general policy of cheating with impunity, knowing that the benefits will most often outweigh the formal penalties. Fuck! I bet they'd love the US Supreme Court. The danger car has already been proposed as a potential solution for ensuring the spirit of fairness in competition remains even when things go tits up on the track. But we need additional measures. 1 lap per race that's treated like the purge and track limits no longer apply. DRS made available within 2 seconds of the car in front of you for exchange of winning a pie eating contest the day before. Everyone gets a polo mallet long enough to whack a driver who dares to go wheel to wheel. This could all be solved with innovation. Right, Sam Dunn. Fuck you with your fucking
State of F1.
state of F1 wannabe.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
And there's no question.
No, I think he's just done an exceptional job of
Done.
filling
Because his name
Terry's
is Dunn.
shoes.
That's not an exceptional. No, because I like to think that my ideas have one foot in reality.
Yeah, but you've never called him a Flemish fuckstick, which is pretty good.
It is good. I'll give him that.
Maybe he's just written into ChatGPT, write me a Terry Saunders State of F1.
Although, if you are writing a question that long, it needs to start with, gentlemen, a short view back to the past. Like that mad question from a few years ago in the press conference.
Yes. I also think that... I'm just trying to read the question. There's no question. So, Sam...
Oh, no, there is a question there.
Where?
The purge and track limits no longer apply?
There to go wheel to wheel?
There it is.
A pie eating contest the day before. I think he's just Australian.
I suppose that's
That's
the
how
day
they
before.
talk. None of them are questions.
It's Daniel Ricciardo.
It's what Daniel Ricciardo does now. He's given up. He's trying to write a state of F1. Well, I tell you what, mate, you'll be shit at that too.
Oh, maybe he'll be really good at it to start with, and then it'll tail off.
Like me.
They're all very good points, but the only one with any merit is the polo mallet. So it was a good effort, but, you know.
Next question.
Next question. I'm picking one at random here. Alan Cornish. Look, I saw Max's drive in Brazil, like everyone else, but can we find lots of ways to slag it off? I'm bored of the collective media wanking over it. Also, can we have a hug a Colapinto section?
No. Oh. I really enjoyed seeing him crash.
Oh, have you taken a dislike to him then?
My ex was Argentinian.
Oh, it's the X, not the Falklands.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Falklands.
And the Falklands. It's both.
I was fucked over by the Falklands. Look, Max.
There have been fewer Falklands jokes about Colapinto. Maybe it's because we're old and nobody who follows F1 remembers the Falklands. But I thought there'd be more Falklands jokes about Colapinto.
I thought there'd be more Falklands flags. You know, what do they call it? The Malvinas. I thought we'd see some of those floating about, but no, you haven't had any.
Probably just as well. It's not. So you don't like Colapinto, just solely because he's Argentinian. So it's outright racism, xenophobia.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Is it racism or is it
just xenophobia? Heartbreak? I think
it's heartbreak.
It's xenophobia, yeah.
Xenophobic heartbreak.
No, it's not.
Great band name. Great band name. That's an absolute cracker.
And our first album is called Colapinto Will Never Get My Heart.
The first
brackets. She left me.
The first part of the question, though, is it does sound like it's a job for you, Terry. How can we slag off Max's drive in Brazil?
Didn't we just slag off Max's drive in Brazil? Is to wonder why no one else could do it. Like it.
It's because he's very good. As
I know.
Previously discussed.
Oh, yeah, that's not really a slag off. That's a commendation.
It was really good. It was really good.
If you had to pick holes in it, you'd say
for Alan,
should he have been down there at the start, like because he didn't do that well in qualifying? I now can't remember why. Oh, because there was all sorts of drama with the safety car coming out and he didn't get his lap in, did he? That was it.
Yeah.
And also he did get a big chunk of luck with not pitting, but then arguably that was strategy because they kind of figured that would probably happen, and then he drove very well. So yeah, it's tricky. It was very good. I mean, people are comparing it to like Senna at Donington '93, which
I think
maybe
it
a bit much, but it was very good.
I think it was one of those races where, you know, you do see the true mettle of a driver, and he was fucking great. And also, there's something about a wet race, and this isn't slagging on Max. This is actually going to praise Max. But the thing with the wet race is you get all the drivers that go, "This is my chance. This is my time to shine." So then you've got the likes of Hulkenberg, who, in many wet races in the past, has nearly got a podium, but then crashed out. And this week, didn't he? You know, he's about to go to Audi, and he's the big new deal in Audi, and he was
still Sauber for another year, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But he was shit. And then you got the likes of Colapinto crashing, Albon crashing in the qualifying in the wet, and then you've got Hamilton just being rubbish. And it was more that everyone else was falling apart. And then Max was also being very good. And, you know, he did well. I'm sorry. I can't...
Well, maybe we'll reframe it that actually him displaying that kind of ability was just frankly rude.
It was a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
What a scumbag.
What a twat.
Okay, I've got a question. Listeners' call. We've got thousands of questions to get to. I've got a question.
Yeah, go on.
Do you ever think a driver's given up a place out of romanticism?
Romanticism?
You're gonna have to explain this in more detail because I don't know what you mean.
Well, let's say you're third and the guy behind is someone who's never got a podium and you're someone who gets a podium every week. Do you ever think there's a driver going, oh, no, I'll let him have it?
No, not for a second.
Yeah.
Or, oh, it's his last race, I'll let him...
Every driver wants to win. Every driver thinks he's a world champion if he only had the rub of the green.
If you
Which makes the likes of Piastri giving up his win to Norris even more impressive because there's no way he wanted to do that, even for the good of the team.
It's funny, though, that Terry should say that because there was a point where Verstappen was winning so consistently that I did think, what if he just thought one day, do you know what? I'm just going to throw a race. Just because I'm fucking bored and this is too easy. Like, I just want to make things a little bit more interesting.
Think that, Verstappen specifically, no, I don't think that ever happened.
No, I'm not saying he would do that, but there must be, like, an example of that, maybe. Just on a day, they're just like,
Verstappen loves winning so much that even when he was at his prime in Red Bull, winning everything, he was still doing online racing and other random stuff because he wanted to win even more. He really, really, really likes winning and driving.
I think the only way that Max would do that is if he was on pole and decided just to give everyone else a head start and just be like, right, you all go, I'll still win.
But it is a bit like the Sao Paulo race, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, starting in 17th and going, I wonder if I could win from 17th. Yeah. Like, let me try.
No, I think he'd because then he'd have to start in 17th, and I don't think he's happy doing that. He's like, I want to be on pole. I want the fastest lap.
No, that's what I mean.
I want to win every title. I want to win by as far as I can.
No, but that's what I mean. He qualifies. He's on pole position, and when the red lights go out, he lets everyone go by.
No, I can't see. No, The red lights go out, so I want to be 45 minutes up the road.
That's pretty much how he does things. Let's have another question. Phill.
I will go with one from J. Ferguson KG, who says, Terry, fuck, marry, kill, Max Lando Russell. I think we've done this before, but let's do it again.
We'll do it again.
Based on the latest information.
Only you have to answer this, Terry.
It's specifically addressed to you. Yeah.
So I'd kill Russell.
No hesitation there. Okay. Yeah. Straight in.
Yeah.
I think I'd marry Max and fuck Lando.
Ooh, reasoning?
Yeah.
Well, Russell is a terrible person, so if he's dead, then that's fine. I don't find Max very attractive, but I can imagine, we could play games, go for dinner with friends, that kind of thing. And
Plus
Lando, I don't like. Yeah, he's got a lot of money. I could be a housewife. I'd be a kept man. And Lando, I don't like his personality, but he's fairly fit.
Yeah,
he'll have abs. I imagine.
Some cum gutters.
Be quite skinny though, and I've not seen him in person, but I bet he's quite little. Because most F1 drivers are quite little, apart from. Well, even I've met a couple of tall drivers. I've met Webber and I've met Coulthard, and they're quite tall, but they're also like pipe cleaners. They're so skinny it looks. I think in a race suit it just looks normal, but when you meet them in real life, you're like, oh my god, you're skinny.
Lando Norris is 5'10".
Oh, okay, it's taller.
That's quite tall. Yeah, that's. I'm saying that. I'm only
shorter than me and Terry, but yeah.
Oh my god, it's his birthday like next week. Do you want to have a guess how old he is?
I thought you were going to say, did you get him anything? No, I didn't.
Is he born in 2005?
Lando Norris, I reckon, is going to be 24.
He's turning 25 next week.
Oh, is he? Okay.
So what is he, 2000 then?
There you go. They're all young these days.
99? What's
99, November 13th, 99. He's from Bristol. I didn't know
he is. His dad's like the richest man in Britain.
I thought you were going to say he's the richest man in Bristol.
Well, by definition, yes, he probably is.
Yeah. Of course
his dad's only a little bit older than me and you, Terry. It's depressing.
Adam Norris, yeah,
he's like late 40s, I think.
Where did he get the name Lando from?
Star Wars.
Oh, really?
I mean, it must be. Where else have you heard the name Lando?
Oh my god.
The only time I've ever heard it is with Lando Calrissian, the famous backstabber who lives in the clouds.
Terry, do you want to take a question? Because we've got a lot to get through here. Come on.
We don't have to do them all.
We don't have to do them all, but we'll do some. More.
Joshua Jake Stewart says, can we please talk about the hilarious lack of respect the fans showed to Stroll when he went off? I thought I heard them laughing at him on the broadcast, and later saw a video from the stands and they were chanting Drogovic.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
Pretty brutal, but also hilarious. I mean, deserved, probably.
Well, he didn't just go off, but he went off and then drove into the gravel, which was just hilarious. It's like, most drivers...
And we should say, was on the formation lap. It wasn't in the race.
The race hadn't even started.
Yeah, most drivers just do a fancy little spin straight back on the track. No, just straight through the fucking gravel. It's like,
but also, I don't know why I'm so... Oh, this is ruining my fucking vibe, man. I'm looking at him now, and I'm seeing he's only 20. He's only just turned 26 in October.
That's old.
That's quite old.
It's old, but also it's old for an F1 driver. But let's imagine when we were all 26, if we had the world mocking us, it would be very hard. But also, he's a millionaire. So
I could barely tie my fucking shoelaces at 26. When I look back now, I was like, I was an absolute shambles of a man.
You should probably have seen someone about that.
No, it's just like, I did not have my shit together at all.
So well, Stroll, to be fair.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I also didn't have a billionaire dad guiding me towards his dreams. But
there have actually been some really brilliant sort of videos on Instagram of Stroll, just like people just mocking him, that have been superb. So that one, obviously, the entire crowd just mocking him. But him,
are we punching down at Stroll? Sometimes it feels like we're punching down.
Are we punching? As Terry very well pointed out, he is a multi-millionaire with a billionaire
can you punch
father.
Down to a millionaire?
No, you can't. No, absolutely not. But I mean, he's. Oh God.
He could stop any time he wants.
Yes, of course he could.
Which was probably about 6 years ago.
He could just go and
actually maybe he can't stop whenever he wants.
Set up a line of coffee shops or a new cryptocurrency or something. Just go away.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Go and do an MBA like what's his face who drove for Williams. and wasn't very good, but seemed really nice. The other Canadian, in fact, the last Canadian. His name, of course, we all remember. Nicola Latifi, that was him.
Latifi.
Didn't he just
He's left F1 and stopped
time?
driving altogether. I think he just wanted to go back to school and learn how to do
driving.
business.
He takes the bus now.
He probably does.
He does.
To be fair, he wasn't really driving in F1 either, was he? So.
He was spinning about all over the place. Right. Should we do one more each?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Lizzie Valère. I hope I've got that right. How would you say that? Valer? Yeah, I'd say Valer. I don't know why I went all French there. If Hülkenberg had been able to push his own car back off the drain and then jump back in, would he still have been disqualified? It's a good question.
I say yes, because in order to get out... I'm not sure if you're allowed to get out or not, but logistically, if you get out and you get in, you can't do up your own belts. You need somebody else to do your belts for you, because drivers can't do them themselves. And if you drive without your belts, you get in very deep shit. So
if you're in deep shit, you can get out of the car.
Well, if you're on a drain and in deep shit, you call Ollie, as we heard earlier. He will come and sort you out.
Yes, I'll come and sort your drains out. Ollie's Drain Services.
Yeah,
call me now.
Not a euphemism.
7963 T76 498. It's not my phone number. But
it is somebody's.
See what happens.
Good. No. I mean, we should probably talk about that. That was unfortunate. Like literally getting stranded on the smallest mountain.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It was.
Sounds like an Irish folk song.
How far were his rear wheels off the
floor?
Floor?
It was his. Well, that was the weird thing. It didn't look like his rear wheels were off. I need to see it again. I saw his front wheel in the air, but hang on, it's not front wheel drive. What's going on here? Yeah, they must have been because he couldn't move. But
could he not have done like a Italian job kind of scenario?
Hold on, lads. What?
Like rock about.
Hold on, lads. I can't say hold on, lads. Apparently. Hold on, lads. I've got a great idea, but in a German accent.
I don't remember Jason Statham being in the Italian job.
Wasn't he in the remake?
Hold on a minute, lads. I got a great idea.
Purple Haze. Oh, right. Sound like Purple Haze.
Felt like I was watching the film then. That was so good.
Your ankle.
Hold on, lads. I have a great idea.
Hold on, meine Herr.
Halt!
If that...
meine Freundin. Ich habe eine gute Idee.
Just sounds like somebody's going to kill you, doesn't it?
The Germans would have strapped the gold down.
Yeah, for us this was not a problem. We had it sorted out a long time earlier.
It's like a giant... We treat the gold like it's in a giant Birkenstock.
Yeah, you remember? I told you about it when we only blew the bloody doors off.
Would there be a way that he could have legitimately got off there, though?
I don't think so, unless he sort of rocks the car back and forth and managed to get it free, like using
but I think there should be
engine
more
power and steering.
Yeah. Or like in Sam Dunn's comment, like if he'd have had like a stick, if like, in the cockpit they have a stick, so they could just like use it like an oar.
Would have to be like a sort of telescopic carbon fibre thing that they could just like.
Oh yeah, that would be a movable aero. That would be a movable aero part.
It might have been. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, Lizzie.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. Next question.
Shall I take one? BumboClart81 says, thoughts on Antonelli in on the final 3 races to give him a head start? Lewis won't mind. Well, Lewis apparently wouldn't mind, based on his interviews after the race, where he seemed as down and depressed as I've ever seen him. He seems to have completely checked out of Mercedes.
I mean, he would mind.
I mean, would he?
Yeah.
I think he would. I think he'd mind. I think he wants to be there because he loves this track because it's got really good fans.
I'm trying to find the quote that he gave after the race. Disaster of a weekend. If this is the last time I get to perform, it was a shame it wasn't great. I could happily go and take a holiday. I'm not massively bothered about what happens the rest of the weekend.
Oh wow! Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay,
no,
yeah. Maybe he will. Maybe he's quit.
Maybe he gives 0 fucks. Or he must have had to say that, he must have had a conversation with Toto, surely. Basically saying, well, do you want to sit out the next couple of races? I
don't think he will, but, because we've talked about it before, like Hamilton does get he wears his emotions on his sleeve, doesn't he? You can tell when he's happy and when he's not. And he was just massively fucked off and just waiting for the season to be over so he can go and, knee deep in Duolingo and read things, I'm sure.
Never understood that saying.
Mm-hmm.
What? Knee
Wearing
deep in
your
Duolingo?
emotions. No, your emotions on your sleeve.
Well, so you can easily see what the emotions are.
Yeah,
It's
sure,
like
but like, where did it come from?
I'd imagine it comes from the black armband that you wear for mourning.
Oh.
Because that
I
means
feel like I've learnt something.
you're looking sad on your sleeve. I've just made that up, but it does make sense.
No, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to tell everyone that now. That's how rumours start.
I believe its first recorded use was in Othello by William Shakespeare.
Oh, that's the one where the like it's like chess, but it's little black and white pieces.
I feel like you knew that without Googling.
Yeah, I mean, from the top of my head, it was something like, for when my outward action doth demonstrate the native act and figure of my heart, in compliment extern, 'tis not long after, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeve for doors to peck at. I am not what I am. Which is exactly what Lewis Hamilton said at the end of the last race.
Pretty much what I said, really, isn't it? That's
Exactly.
pretty much how I described it.
It's exactly. Yeah.
There's a good video idea. Formula One radio messages, but it's Shakespeare.
Hard watch. I love it.
Hang on.
Wow. Is this a pit lane I see before me?
George Russell's probably done that already.
To pit or not to pit? That is
No.
the question. Whether it is nobler in the... and so on.
I've just Googled Shakespeare quotes and see if any of these would work for a Formula One radio message, right?
Yeah, go on.
Better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late. That was when Daniel Ricciardo's tyres weren't ready at Monaco.
You got to do the bloop before it.
Oh, 2 seconds, Ted.
All that glitters is not gold. Is that Shakespeare? I don't know.
Doesn't work, that one.
Most, if there's one thing I've learned in recent years, is that most things are Shakespeare.
Okay, here we go. What? My dear Lady Disdain, are you yet living? That's about the Pirelli tyres.
Yeah, no.
Out, damned flat spot. Out, I say.
Oh, none of these work. Okay.
You have to modify them slightly.
It was a valiant effort. Have you got one more? Try one more.
Oh, I've just... Okay.
I've just deleted them. I've just
shut the
deleted
page.
Shakespeare.
Fuck him. Fucking hate Shakespeare anyway.
No, he was good.
Nah.
No, I'll watch out for him, I reckon.
I've heard mixed reviews, if I'm honest.
Fortunately, a page of Shakespeare quotes has crashed my copy of Chrome, so I now can't see the script.
Well, let's do a last question. Who is on the last question? Who's doing the last question?
Is it me?
Yeah, it's you.
Jay Ferguson KG says, should the race director be able to mandate teams to pit for wets rather than teams waiting for the red flag emoji? I think that was dictated. For background listeners, Phill was reading out the message and I typed it, and he said red flag emoji, and I typed out red flag emoji because I'm just an idiot who does what he's told.
You're Ron Burgundy?
I don't think you're an idiot for doing that. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
It also says, should RD be able to... What actually he wrote was, should RD be able to mandate? We're assuming that means race director. It could mean Ron Dennis, which I'm all in favour of.
I'd love it.
I've missed Ron Dennis from Formula One. I think they should just have him in a little room and he should just be able to say, right, everyone has to go on wets.
No, it'd be like who wants to be a millionaire. They'd be like, right, okay, what should the tyre choice be? Can I phone a friend?
I mean,
I phone Ron Dennis. He has to give permission.
There was definitely a point where they probably should have been on wets.
Well, some drivers did go on wets, but it's a very good point, because if the race is wet enough to be stopped, but half the teams are still on fucking intermediates, you're like, well, no, go on fucking wets.
Absolutely, that's what they're for.
Yeah.
I'm increasingly wondering what wets are for, because it seems like whenever it's wet enough for wets, it's too wet to race.
Well, apparently, and this is because I listened to the race podcast, apparently
Boo.
the wets are very good at clearing water, but they've got terrible grip, which makes them pretty much useless.
Okay. Well, also, they presumably clear the water directly into the path of the car behind, so you
There's
can't
that
see
too.
anything.
Oh, I tell you what I did like about this race, though. I tell you what I did love. is seeing the aero. You know, when you
when
see
it
all
whizzes through
the little whizzes and whirls,
the vapours off the wings.
No,
It is
really
cool,
good.
isn't it? That. I like that.
Normally, not much of an aero geek, but that's kind of like
yeah. You're like, oh no, I understand.
Science, bitch.
I want to put my dick in a wind tunnel. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I think in that we should probably take an ad break now, shall we?
Oh, is it for dicks in wind tunnels?
Wind tunnel hire for just.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the advertising break and you got sold something from the adverts. It's all goes towards our Actually, no, it doesn't.
No, we get no commission at all. It's
get
irrelevant
no
to us
commission,
whether you bought
so
anything or not.
Just listen to the ads. Don't necessarily buy them. You don't have to.
Maybe write to the advertisers and say, "I heard about you on FF1S. You should advertise more."
Yes, that's a really good idea.
Look, if you're going to go to that much effort, just send us a £5.
He raises a good point. Speaking of which, news. Who's got some news?
Oh, we've all got news. As well, you know.
Who wants to go first with news?
Shall I start?
Yes.
The big news, I say big, some news, is that Valtteri Bottas is out. He's gone. He's dead. He has no seat.
He's out on his Bottas.
He is out on both his bot and his ass. Because Sauber has announced that it has signed Gabriel Bortoleto to drive for them next year. I keep thinking it's Audi next year. It's actually the year after, because it seems to be the longest takeover in F1 history. But yeah, so they've got Bortoleto in, who is currently leading F2. I hadn't thought that he was particularly in for a chance of a seat, but he was, and now he's got one for next year. So that's interesting. So there's a couple of things to talk about there. One, what do you guys know about him? And two, any thoughts on Valtteri Bottas before he dies? I mean, before he leaves.
One, I've never heard of him. Two,
who Bottas?
That's Bottas. And two,
Who Bottas? I've never heard of him.
Since Bottas has become this mullet-wearing I just don't care. You can fuck off for all I care.
No, he's funny. I quite like.
No,
he's
not funny.
Bottas.
No, he's not funny.
It's like an honorary Australian.
No.
Well, yes, actually, that's a good point. He's Ricardo too, right? That's basically what's happening.
He's also been given the hoof.
Yeah. But
he's
he's
copied
like
Ricardo so well.
But as a person, he's sort of like it seems to have replicated a few of his Ricardo's ways. I think.
You mean being shit out of a job but very rich?
All of those things, and trying to make as much money as possible from advertisers as he can.
Uber.
Yeah, Uber. Yeah, prime example. But no, I don't know who Bortoleto is or whatever his name is.
Bortoleto is an interesting one. He is he's Brazilian, from the country of Brazil, which I believe has had a few racing drivers in the past.
Felipe Nasr.
Yes, Felipe Nasr, Felipe Massa, Felipe Baza.
Philip Daza.
Felipe
Sorry.
Jazza. Jazza was good, actually.
He's very young, as all F1 drivers are. He was born in October 2004.
That's ridiculous.
He was born in October.
Still a fetus.
So he has just turned 20 years old.
Oh, fuck off.
He's had a reasonable...
Fuck off. No, fuck off. Fuck this, right? I'm not having I'm not putting a poster on my wall of a 20-year-old. I'll have the fucking social services round again.
Well, it depends what he's wearing in the poster.
Sauber.
Nothing.
Which in German means clean.
Clean. You want the more schmutzig. Why is there not a schmutzig racing team? That joke will only make sense to people who speak German. Anyway.
I've got no idea what it means.
No, it means dirty.
Schmutzig.
So his manager is Fernando
22.
Alonso. No, it's Fernando Alonso. He's part of
he's fucked.
Formula One driver. I don't know if it's actually his manager, but it's his management company.
Can you imagine being managed by Fernando Alonso? And Fernando says, you should drive for Sauber. And he's like, okay, well, I'll do anything but drive for Sauber next year. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Based on my extensive experience as a Formula One driver, what you should do is piss off everyone you've ever worked with. Burn all the bridges you can. Yeah, so he's had a reasonable but not spectacular career. He's never. The last thing he actually won was the Brazilian Open Karting Championship in terms of.
Even I fucking
hang
won.
hang on.
Actually, no, that's not true at all. I've completely made that up. He won Formula 3 last year. So that's absolute bollocks.
Yeah, but okay.
And he's currently winning F2 in his first year, which is moderately impressive. Although he's won it by basically being consistent. He's only won 2 races, but he's been there or thereabouts in a lot of the races. So he's winning.
Sounds like a low entry level.
It's not like...
So there must be people in F2 now that are better than that.
Well, Bottas.
No, Bottas isn't better than him in F2 at the moment.
He would be.
He probably... Well, would he? He seems like a perfectly decent driver. He's Brazilian, which presumably helps because there's a big old F1 fan base in Brazil, as we've just seen from the last race. Brazil hasn't had a decent racer since... Well, Felipe Nasr was the last Brazilian.
Oh, I see. It's just about
and
selling
he wasn't
merch,
particularly great, was he? So
that's all they want to do.
Who else? Like, if I look back through recent Brazilian racing drivers, Nasr, Lucas de Grassi, Bruno Senna, Nelsinho Piquet, Antonio Pizzonia, Cristiano De Mata. Like, nobody's really set the world on fire since maybe Massa. Not Nasser, Massa.
I'm suddenly feeling very sorry for Bottas. Sorry, I've just jumped in your comment. Sorry.
That's all right. So, I don't know. Like, I mean, clearly they have... I think that Sauber have sort of seen how well Colapinto's done, how well Behrman's done coming in, how well Liam Lawson's done, and they've thought, let's get some young blood in. And they've decided that this is their guy.
Colapinto crashed at the weekend.
He was in the McLaren Academy, and McLaren have sort of said, you know, we don't have a seat for you anytime soon, so go with our blessing. I have absolutely no idea how well he's going to do. I mean, he's clearly slightly handy. But having said that, the F2 graduates into F1 of late haven't actually been doing that well in F2. Witness Antonelli, Behrman.
But they must see something in their driving style which makes them think, okay, they're going to be really good.
I think he's done a few, a few tests and stuff, and they've thought, yeah, okay, fine, great, let's get him in.
About them, yeah.
But
that they can.
But having said that, they are an absolute dumpster fire of a team at the moment. So maybe they're just like, we'll have anyone that will drive it, because obviously some drivers have just gone, no, I'm not driving for you, such as Carlos Sainz. Maybe they've just gone, what about this guy? He'll do anything for a seat. Because it's not very often at the moment that F2 champions go straight into F1. When you look at the last couple, they've just kind of gone nowhere. So, don't know. I don't really know what to expect from him.
Terry, do you have any assessment on this?
I feel excited for Behrman coming in. I feel excited for Antonelli.
Although Behrman was all over the place at Brazil.
Well, yeah, and even Colapinto. I mean, they weren't. But this is the thing. I think we've had this weird year where we've had all these rookies come in for like super subs and do really well, and then what's happened is the Formula One team bosses collectively have gone, "Oh shit, old drivers are shit. We want new drivers." And then I think what's going to happen is they're all going to be rubbish next year. And then they'll be calling out like Felipe Massa.
And then Hamilton will win the championship with Ferrari. Yeah, it's just absolutely annihilate all of these new drivers. I love it.
Great.
Bottas, any thoughts? I mean, I don't. I've often said, like, if you're not potentially good enough for the world champion, then why are you there? Bottas has had his crack. He's had his time. Go off and have fun with your butt.
How long's he been How long's he been racing for?
Oh, must be a good 10 years now.
Yeah. I mean, because if you think of his career, like he was driving for Williams and he was this hot young talent. Then he got the shot at replacing Rosberg and being Hamilton's teammate in the most dominant team, and was, good but shown up by Hamilton, which is fair.
He's got 10 wins. He's been doing 11 years. 2013 he first started, so that's a pretty good stint, I would say.
And then he's gone to Sauber and just had a bit of a retirement. I think that's a good career.
Yeah. Do you think he felt like it was like, I'll have a bit of a jolly at Sauber? And
yeah, exactly.
Because they look like a joke team as well, don't they?
It's been a perfectly serviceable, decent F1 stint. A good journeyman. He's got 10 wins, which is more than a lot of people. He's had 244 races so far. Sorry, 244 entries. Not quite sure what the one he didn't make was, but he's there. He's done F1, and he's done it pretty well. Good luck to him. I'll keep following him on Instagram.
Good luck with your advertising career. Well done.
Which will now falter because you're not a Formula 1 driver anymore.
Or it'll probably end up in the WEC or something like that.
In other news, Alonso has had now, what, 400,000 races?
500 races. 300 races.
12 races.
It's his first race. Fernando Alonso.
How many races?
Never do a race.
500 million races.
He's had a lot of races.
1,000 races.
Trillion races.
It doesn't matter anymore, does it? Because you can't compare. You can't compare to like Senna when there were 16 races in a season. You can't, and you can have a career now that lasts for 20 odd years because you never fucking give up or you don't die like some of the other drivers. It's just a stupid stat.
Yeah, but you know how he will die.
No.
Just a bad back.
Because his back.
Well, he did have a bad back this week.
He had a bad back. That I don't know if you saw the interview, but he was in tears.
I didn't see the interview. I heard the radio message where he said, "I'm going to finish this race for the team." To which everyone at the pits was like, "Yeah, don't bother, mate."
He was actually genuinely crying in pain.
Was it pain, or was it just at how bad the Aston Martin is at the moment?
Or had he seen my animation and he was crying with laughter?
A Weekend at Fernie's available now on YouTube.
Weekend at Fernie's, I
crying
love
with
it.
laughter.
So good. Oh, it is. It's the best thing on YouTube. Everyone should watch it. But yeah, he maybe that's what 400, 500, how many races? Million races does to you. You get a bad back, and basically his spine must be fucked.
Oh, I mean, just sitting in that seat for 400 times.
Oh, well, actually, I'm looking at this now. He's had 401 entries and 398 starts.
We haven't got time.
So 3 races, he never even started.
Nope.
What happened there?
He was in a McLaren.
But anyway, he's had a lot of races. He's knocking on a bit. I don't know how much longer he's going to be left, but we know that he's obviously doing next season. And
there's still several. He'll be around for a while longer. There's still quite a few teams on the grid that he hasn't raced for and then fucked off. So
yes, yeah, okay. Other news, Terry?
Water-cooled tyres, but the water's on the inside. And it's not a real thing because the tyres are supplied by Pirelli and it's not possible to put water in the inside of a tyre. But Red Bull is saying that McLaren are water cooling their tyres to the point that it doesn't make any sense, and it's the best story I've ever heard, because it's almost like now Red Bull have just got one of those fridge magnet poetry sets and gone, oh, McLaren are cheating because rose petals in the DRS.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
Do you reckon they've got those like Brian Eno cards where they're just like pulling them out, going, yeah, there's some cheese in the air ducts. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's speeding them up.
Yeah. Yes.
That would smell amazing, actually.
Some kind of comestible, some kind of technical element.
Yes. Yeah.
Combine the two and demand that something is done.
Instead of a leaf blower, it was just like a grilling cheese.
Have you ever seen those videos of like where they stop babies crying by slapping a piece of American cheese on their face?
I haven't.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. You should look it up. But I wonder if it's a similar thing.
Or do you reckon when in the pit stops they reach into the air duct? It's not to clear debris. It's so one of the mechanics can get a sandwich out. It's like, oh, it's just right.
I think it's for sexual kicks.
Sexual kicks, Sauber.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah,
I'd love to
just
fist
ram you right up to the elbow. Go, whoa.
Like James Herriot.
The sexiest of all the vets.
James Herriot is a 20-year-old Formula 4 driver.
Eton educated.
It's a modern reference. James Herriot.
Very British as well. I'm not sure anybody outside Britain will know who the fuck that was.
No. Google James Herriot.
So if you're over 40 and British, you might know what that reference was.
Yes, yeah. And now...
I mean, he drove for a couple of teams. He drove for All Creatures Great. and
Small.
A minnow team.
Small.
There was a good joke in there, and I fucked it.
Yeah, we'll workshop it offline and we'll come back next week.
Yeah. Next month. And now, it's time for the State of F1 with Terry Saunders.
Okay, so Max Verstappen is world champion elect. His performance in Brazil was worthy of any great you care to mention, and yet his overtakes in recent races have been controversial, efficient, and frankly, just fucking annoying. You can tell that him and Jos spend their long, lonely nights together discussing racing guidelines and how best to exploit them. That is when Max is making Jos watch him being on fire over and over again, or fetching Daniel Kvyat in the room so they can just make him watch and then send him away again. Because it seems that while you can't force another driver off the track, there's a loophole in the rules that means you don't need to bother with the corner if Norris is alongside you. Norris can't overtake because he's, trying to make the corner. If he keeps his foot in, he'll cause a crash or he has to back off. It's a chess move of an F1 drive. But like chess, it's fucking boring. But don't worry, I have a solution. I get it. Max has the stewards over a barrel by clinically and precisely following, in classic F1 parlance, the letter of the rules, if not the spirit. But the problem is, these moves are the equivalent of an older brother holding your fists and hitting you with them and saying, look, he's punching himself. So I propose something different. There's been a lot of calls for permanent stewards to make consistency in the penalties, but I think we should go further. And Sam Dunn, if you're listening, this is how you do it. You judge overtakes like it's ballroom dancing or gymnastics. After a pass, we go to the stewards' room where Nigel Mansell, Derek Warwick and some other old white guy all watch the overtake and hold up scores on pieces of card. Then Claudia Winkelmann can come over the radio and inform Max, although it was technically a good move, there was no panache and he got a stop-go penalty. And on the upside, Alexander Albon will now be in sequence.
Is that a particular thing that you were keen on?
I'd like to see Alexander Albon in sequence.
I like the sound of Claudia Winkelmann coming over a radio.
I beg your pardon. To sex, Ted. To sex, Ted.
To sex or not to sex? That is the question.
Oh, what a segue that was.
Well, we've looped everything in together there.
We have,
let's end while we can.
So
back
to speak.
again, yeah. Tell us how wrong we are. You can do via social media. We're at For F1's Sake on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and still on Facebook if anybody checks it these days. Or you can email us wrong@ff1s.com. Terry is thirsty, so buy us a pint. If you want to say thanks for this little thirsty grunt there, if you want to say thanks for
What's he
whatever,
thirsty for?
whatever,
Drenched.
For God's sake, buy him a pint.
Jesus Christ. You can donate a one-off pint or three to us at ff1s.com/pint. Stop it, I'm getting a boner. Right, it's time for Man of the Month. I've had too much wine. Man of the Month of Driving.
Max Verstappen.
Max Verstappen.
Oh, fuck it. Has it really come to this? Fuck
Christ.
That's it from us. We'll be back next month for another roundup of F1 nonsense. Until then, it's goodbye to Phill Traymans.
Goodbye. We haven't had time to talk about our Christmas special, which has not been planned in the slightest, other than it will be happening and might not be online.
Jingle
Might
bells,
be.
jingle
Drum roll,
bells.
please. IRL.
IRL.
What, Indie Racing League?
That's right. Also in real
Independent
life.
relegation.
But when
featuring...
you say, but hang on, when you say it won't be online, like it's a podcast. Like,
Well, we'll put it out online.
We'll put
but
it
it'll
online.
be recorded
We'll record it in person. We're going to
Via
a pub again.
hub,
you
like
can
the old
receive it.
days. Because,
Please send a stamped addressed envelope.
Yeah.
To
Well, Terry's
After-
coming over.
After 4 years out of London, we're going to try and book a pub around Christmas time. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, it's going to be fine.
So please tune in for that. That'll be great. And we'll look back over whatever Grand Prix have happened by then, whenever we do it.
All of them.
And to Terry Saunders.
Amazon was in an old car. Don't give a shit. Bye.
In the meantime, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/for F1's Sake, and follow us on Twitter @for F1's Sake. Oh, and check out our YouTube channel. Have you checked it out? You should. Where you can see as well as hear us. If you're watching YouTube already, here's something just for you. Oh, that's good. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, I burnt my phone.
That, honestly, if you're only listening in audio, you missed out. However, if you want to watch or listen, just type in for F1's Sake or something, anything you want, and see what comes up. I never know what that sentence really means, but I read it anyway. Terry, where can people buy merch? Is there any merch? Do we even sell any anymore?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Terry was going to do merch every race.
No, it wasn't every race. It was every month.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to do a new T-shirt every month, and I did one in January, and now it's November.
Okay, before we go,
So
it's time
there
for
are
Weekend
11.
at Fernie's.
Go and watch Weekend at Fernie's
Go
on
and watch-
YouTube,
Yeah, go and watch Weekend at Fernie's.
and
Yeah.
then buy it, and go to ff1s.com/shop.
Excellent. Thanks for listening. I've been Ollie Peart. Goodbye.
Love you, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.